Okay, I don't know what this thing is that people have about not really expressing themselves and not really saying how they feel and not really. I don't know what that thing is. And I'm not just talking about these people here on MFAS. I'm talking about everybody. I am your girl, Talisa Rae. What's up? How you doing, Ray of Sunshines? We are reviewing Married at First Sight, season number 9, episode number 10. Are you committed? And if you're not, you should say it, okay? No, but that's how I feel. Woo, child. Listen, if you're new or not new and just haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button right now, okay? Thank you. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk Greg and Deanna. I am glad we got to meet Greg's friend, Pico. I'm not sure. But what I am sure of, he ain't playing no games. He trusts his friend's opinion. He knows that he's married, and so he wanted to have a conversation. And his friend was like, I am not holding any shots. What are your challenges? What are your biggest challenges? Forget that whole, I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to cohabitate together because she hadn't been together she hadn't been with anybody for 10 years. We're doing fine with that. No. I want to know what your challenges are. Because I can't help you if everything is all roses and sunshines and rainbows. We ain't going to get to the root of it. We ain't going to get to what would make you not stay with her. And this is something that you really wanted to do. This is something that you're really vested in. Like, that's how I felt Pico was coming at Greg. And so when he asked him about his biggest challenge and he said she does not verbally communicate, I was like, come on, Greg. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Don't be afraid to say what it is about how you feel, that you need more communication from her. And I know that we've been talking about sex and how he ain't put it down and all that. If we're going to be honest, sex is 80% mental. If we aren't together mentally, connected mentally, that 20% ain't nothing. It's just an act that I could do anything with anybody. He can go get a stripper, not a stripper because not all strippers are whores, but he can go get a prostitute, go pay for an escort, and get his needs met, ejaculate, okay, if that's what he wanted to. But he wants a connection, and so he needs that 80%. He needs that 80%. And he asked, Pico asked him, listen, are her imperfections perfect enough for you to stay with her forever? I like the question. I was happy about the question. I was like, are they? Because it ain't like, it's not like, oh, she smacks when she eats, right? You know, something you deal with. It might irritate the shit out of you for the rest of your life, but it's an imperfection. Or she always leaves, you know, the cap off the toothpaste, or toothpaste in the sink, or what? Her clothes on the floor, his clothes. That ain't nothing. This is character we talking about. Is this something that you can deal with? Because that's what you got to worry about. Habits are easy to change. Character flaws, personality flaws are not. And so he said, it's not something that I can sustain for a long period of time, because we're growing and we're getting to know each other. I can deal with it now, but for the long haul, I cannot. It is a non-negotiable. Y'all get y'all some non-negotiables and stick with them. Me and one of my girlfriends always talk about non-negotiables and how women, we falter, we waver. We give leeway, we pull back because we like somebody. Where men, when there's a non-negotiable, I don't like you, that's it. So you smoke cigarettes, non-negotiable. You party too much, non-negotiable. You don't know how to verbally communicate, non-negotiable, I'm out. Like, get you some of those and stick with them and mean them. It's recommitment day, and we'll see that throughout all of the couples, right? Recommitment day is pretty much shit or get off the pot. Do you really want to do this? Are you committed to this process? If you're not, what are you doing here? Walk away. Well, while Dr. Cal is talking to Greg, he asked him, what would it take for you to say yes on commitment day? And he pretty much, first off, they both say that they are compatible and that they made a good match with the two of them, that they complement one another, and which we could agree that they do to a certain extent. That intimacy thing bothers the fuck out of all of us. But he says, in order for me to say yes, she would need to open up more. She's not good verbally communicating how she feels. I need to know what she thinks. And if she's not telling me, how do I know? How do I know? I don't know you well enough. I've known you 30 days. So I don't know you well enough to be able to say, okay, well, this is how she's feeling because she's doing this, this, and that. Or she's, gone into herself because she's an introvert, which they both seem to be very shy and introverts, which always is a problem for me. Like, who's the outgoing one? There's normally a mean one and a nice one. I was the mean one. My husband was very friendly, had never met a stranger. That's why God paired him with me, because I was very matter of fact, very assertive. This is what it is, and he needed that balance. So, yeah, I feel like neither one of them offer that unless it's Deanna and she's not showing it yet. And if she doesn't open up, it creates a disconnect between the two of us. And it's going to be a hard no for me. That whole disconnect, being connected is more than just chemistry. It's chemistry, but being connected is having a bond, knowing one another. So I'm all like, come through, Greg, with being able to articulate what you need and what you like and what you want. Listen, and I think I've said that about him the entire time. He is a good communicator, not just in articulating, but also using his two ears to hear what she's saying and take in what she's saying. On the other hand, you have Deanna, who's asked the same question by Viviana, what would it take to say yes? And she didn't even talk about herself. She spoke his truth. She said, I know that he needs me to open up more, and I don't know how I can't. That I need to do more like double checking and etc. And she's like, that's what you do for a roommate. Come on, Viviana, tell her the truth. But my thing is, so Deanna, you know what he needs, and you're intentionally not providing it. You're intentionally not pushing yourself further to open up. You know what he needs. You can articulate it to someone else. You see it yourself, and you ain't doing shit about it. I don't know. That seems a little selfish. You say you in this for the long haul, and if you're really in it for the long haul, then why in the fuck aren't you opening up more? Why aren't you figuring out how to open up more? Why don't you guys start writing down questions and do the fishbowl thing just periodically? Why don't you play 20 questions? Why don't you do Simon Says? Why don't you play Uno? And if you get I don't know, y'all need to figure it out. Figure out how you can start to verbally open up and communicate. Share more about yourself, about your childhood. When asked about her no, she said, I can't see myself saying no. I'm not going to say no. She just needs more time to grow in love. How much more time do you need? So you need past the 8 weeks, but you have to give him a reason to want to stay around past the 8 weeks. I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, because I get you need time. You don't know him. This is really a short process. Look, it's expedited quickly, and we got to get to know each other really quickly. But what I really want to know is, how are you going to demonstrate that you're going to grow and that you're going to start opening up? Because when 8 weeks come, you want him to say yes. And if you haven't made any strides towards that, baby, the answer is going to be no. And I'm absolutely sure he said something about it. Absolutely, positively. He don't strike me as somebody that wouldn't say something. I was sad to hear Greg say he didn't know how to recognize whether or not she was falling in love. And listen, I'm with Pastor Cal. I'm not falling nowhere, because every time I fall in love, I hurt myself. But if I grow and it blossoms and we love each other and we move forward, then I do well. Now, when they get together and they have a conversation, which one of y'all said that she was real private? Because she is really private. But you said you was going to do this publicly. So open the fuck up. And I like the fact that she said, in her confessional, she would be devastated if he said no because of lack of communication. If you would be devastated, then what are you going to do to make sure he doesn't say no? What are you going to show him? No, really, like, if you would be devastated, then you need to show him that you would be devastated. And the only way to do that is by changing your behavior. Greg is like, I just want more. I need to see more. And when they get together and they talk about it, and she talks about how she was hurt before. First off, you can't bring previous shit into new shit. And I get being hurt and I get being afraid, but if you're going to want to be married and you want to go off in love and you want to have a family, etc., you got to let it go. You got to open up your heart. I'm one of them people that, okay, I got my heart broken. I'm going to cry. I'm going to be upset. I'm going to cry some more. I'm going to move on. I'm not afraid to love. I take the chance at every time I let somebody in of getting my heart broke. But I also know that my heart will mend, that God knows what's best, and that I dodged a bullet. I do like, though, how Greg reassured her that he would not hurt her. How did he do that? By telling that story about his mother. Like, that was huge. Like, my mother was going to get married to my dad, went to Nigeria, found out he had a whole nother family, and she from South Carolina, and ain't with that shit. I don't care what your culture say, I ain't doing it. Like, I was really proud of him sharing that and saying, because I saw how it was detrimental to my mother's love life, how it hurt her so bad and she didn't move forward, I promised myself that I would not hurt my wife. Listen, Greg, she don't want you. I am Talisa Rae at gmail.com. Email me, okay? I mean, we may not match right off, but we'll match eventually. Because I don't hear many men saying that they really want the well-being of their wives. Like, I feel like he means that in his heart and his soul, that he's really ready for this commitment. And I commend him for that, y'all. So she better get it together. Her and I know that was a lot, and I appreciate you for telling me. Girl, you should have bent over. You should have went over and gave him a little kiss or something, like, and not a chicken peck. Deanna, come on, girl. Honey, Keith and Iris. When we saw Keith and Iris for the first time, I was two through and I was done. I wanted Keith to get up and walk out the house and just be like, I'm done. I call it quits. Because her with this game and what she ain't gonna do, and oh, this is too much. Oh no, that's not gonna happen. Had me feeling some kind of way. Like you weren't open enough for that. Had me feeling some kind of way. Like literally, I felt horrible for him. And for him to tell her, you need to grow up. And for her to get an attitude, you can't get mad at him because you are exhibiting sexual immaturity. And that is unattractive to him. You gotta loosen up. He didn't say grow up. Maybe that was me saying grow up. But she need to fucking grow up. She's 27. I think he's been more than patient with her, and she could have been a little more open to this game, and she wasn't. Viviana, 30 days is not a cross point in the relationship. Their honeymoon is not over. It's not. Now, they may have some issues, but this is not a crossroads. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that. They only been together for 30 days. So they ain't really met no crossroads yet. The only crossroad and hurdles they need to jump is Iris and her virginity, her badge of honor. Pastor Cal, when he sits with Keith, he tells Keith, like he told Greg, I don't want no PC answers. I want the truth. Are you attracted to Iris? Yes. Are you sexually attracted to Iris? He says, I think sexual maturity is extremely attractive. It's attractive as fuck. And she is emotionally and sexually immature. Can't make it no plainer than that. Y'all ever notice how his face never changes? Like he never has any emotion in his face. I like to see emotion in his face. I like to see emotion, like intensity. He's always the same. Keith also makes mention that he doesn't want to push the envelope, doesn't want to make her feel uncomfortable because she's a virgin. He really doesn't know which way to go, which is sad. Like she got into this process knowing that she was a virgin, knowing or thinking that she was ready to be in a relationship, knowing that sexual intimacy is a huge part of a marriage. I feel like she's doing everybody a disservice by being so fucking prudish. It's your husband. Do more than just peck him. When Keith is asked if at the 8 weeks, if they don't have sex by the time the 8 weeks is up, is that a no? And he said he's not basing whether or not he says yes or no on a sexual commitment, or whether or not they actually have sex. Because he's not even sure if he's the one, he wants to be the one who takes her virginity. Now, I was with Dr. Cal. They took us to commercial. Honey, I was with Dr. Cal like, oh, okay, so what you're saying is you don't know if you want to be with her because she's so sexually immature, so sexually inexperienced. Because honestly, I feel like he might be a sex god, okay? Like he might be with the business, like might be freaky. Like he gonna want to do some stuff that she is not going to be ready for. She is not going to even probably give him fellatio, child. She probably don't even want to give him a hand job, child, even though she keeps talking about these other things that she's done. Hold on a minute. And so, Pastor Kyle, well, what are you trying to say? What are you saying? Like, that's how I feel. But he kind of recovered, even though I feel like it was some bullshit. Saying that doesn't know if he's ready to take her virginity or to have that kind of responsibility, or even if she wants him to do it. And what we realize is that they have the same issue. They pretty much have the same issue. As she's talking to Viviana, she tells Viviana that she was hoping that she would, when going into this process, that she would be matched with someone who would be more understanding of her virginity. Who the fuck is going to be more understanding than Keith? Like, he has been so patient and understanding and kind. Like, because he's got some concerns. Because you probably ain't even rubbing on his leg. You ain't giving him, you are very touchy-feely, but not in a sexual way, right? So I had to recant what I said earlier. She is very touchy-feely, but maybe it's not as sexual as it should be, right? And she keep talking about this precious gift of 27 years. And taking the virginity, she said, listen, don't call it taking your virginity no more. Like, that ain't the issue. You are going to give it to him. I think that we all understand that. I think it's more of a quit holding that, dangling that you a fucking virgin over everybody's head. Hers, his, your mama's, everybody's. Take the kitty gloves. Take the kitty gloves off. I don't remember what would make Iris say no on decision day. I think she didn't want to say no, but what Viviana let her know is that you're hiding behind your virginity and it scares him. You're pushing him off with your virginity. He doesn't know what to do. You don't know what to do. I mean, he know what to do if you wasn't a virgin. He would have got that monkey already. They both say yes, okay? I didn't say that about Deanna and Greg. They both had a yes to continue. So does Iris and Keith. Viviana said to Iris, why don't you try and do other sexual things so that you can get comfortable with your sexual intimacy, like taking a shower. I was like, she ain't taking no shower. They got to be asshole naked to take a shower. Like feeding each other strawberries, doing body paints. Why don't you try and do other activities outside of penetration? All those activities will lead up to penetration. Honey, you need to have some glasses of wine, couple shots, and then just let your natural attraction to him flow. Because what it is you are uncomfortable. You are scared, Iris. Have a couple shots, girl. Shots to get everybody loose, okay? Have a couple shots. We know she drinks. So she might only need one shot and a glass of wine, but something that's going to relax her nerves, because it's a lot of tension, and that's what causes the problem. And we see them on chore day, and they have the conversation. And he says it again. It is a contention. It is a concern. Yeah. And ain't nothing else he can say. Like, he can't say that a million more times. You keep asking him. He keep telling you the same thing. But I'm glad that you opened up and said, well, I had a conversation with Viviana, and she said that we should try other things, and I want to try them with you. So I'm going to go ahead and give her a round of applause. More so because she actually tried it a little later. She put on her little nightie, okay, because it wasn't lingerie. What is those? Like a chemise gown, like a, with the robe, the matching robe. And she had strawberries. She had body paints. But she was like, well, what do you want to do first? You're the one navigating this. You're the one that needs to say, And the easiest thing probably would have been to feed strawberries to each other and have some wine and relax with some of his records playing. Like, that would have helped you relax a whole lot. Your friend should have told you, because I'm sure they didn't have sex, take some shots before you do this, girl, so that you would be at ease and comfortable. Furthermore, when they started doing the body paint and she started putting it on places on her neck, and even on her neck she was uncomfortable. It started off on her arm. I guess that was to make her comfortable. Then on her neck. But you could see that she was like visibly uncomfortable, visibly unsure, but did enjoy it slightly. But maybe it was the cameras, maybe it was the cameras. He put it on she put it on that inner thigh, honey, and she looked like she liked that. Her eyes did like, ooh, like she got excited, but was uncomfortable. Now I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna need I'm gonna need Keith to get a little more assertiveness, because she's not going to initiate her losing her virginity. He's going to have to put a little more effort behind it and not let her steer it, and not, because she's ready, really, she's ready, but she's scared. She needs to be made more comfortable. So even if it's after the 8 weeks, he is going to have to take charge, because that is going to be his biggest issue. When is she ready? I don't want to make it I don't want to do it if she's not ready. And if they don't get it together, she's going to be a virgin for another 3-4 years. Okay, let's talk about Liz and Jamie, who have not seen each other since Jamie had walked out the door, which it appears to be 2 days from what I'm seeing. So listen, Shirley girl, I didn't reply, but I've been holding on to that. You made a valid point when you said, because she's making this big deal about it. She's making a big deal about him calling her a materialistic bitch, okay? But you asked, isn't it just as bad to say you fuck like a Caucasian? Bam, boom, boom, bam, and it's over. Valid point. Valid point. They are equally as derogatory, these braces. They are equally as derogatory, very much so, both degrading, disrespectful. So, yeah. Now, I don't think either of them should have said either of those things, but she's more devastated to be called a bitch. I'm sure her homegirls be like, bitch! It hit a nerve because he said she was materialistic. Let's keep going. When Jamie is with Pastor Cal, he immediately admits that he was out of line, that he should not have called her a bitch. He probably could have called her materialistic, but he was not supposed to call her a bitch. And that could be detrimental to their relationship. In order for him to say yes, he said there couldn't be any more big, huge fallouts like this. It's detrimental. It's taxing. I mean, I ain't even there, and I'm drained from watching all these fights. He said for him to say no is her dangling sex and using it as a weapon of control. When Viviana asked Liz what it would take for her to say yes, she said, right now it feels like I'm in hell in a handbasket. That's a big deal. So when I said that shit in the beginning about people being able to be honest and really express themselves, like these two to me are those people. Like, especially when she said she would say no if he continues to want sex 5 to 6 times, 3 to 4 is valid. And that she feels like sometimes she just has sex with him just to shut him up. Like it's a chore. Like he climb on top of me and do his business. Like you shouldn't be feeling like it's obligatory. Even though as a wife, it is part of your obligation. You should be wanting to have sex with your new husband of less than 30 days. But like Shirley said, he fucks like a Caucasian, plain Caucasian sex. Like, not spicy enough for her, I suppose. I really feel like both of them at this point should have said no. They both said yes, and that they're willing to work on it. They said, as long as he's not so much as, I hope he's not as much of an asshole as he has been. And to me, I mean, they're showing you who you are. These two are not sending out their representatives. These two are giving us who they really are. And at this point, If I was Liz or if I was Jamie, I would fucking walk away. What is so great about them in 30 days that made y'all want to stay? No, seriously. Like, I'm trying to figure it out because this is toxic. My energy is low every time I watch them. I'm waiting for the ball for the ball to drop. So somebody tell me, what is it? When they get together and they sitting in front of that fire pit and they talk about their sessions with Viviana and Pastor Cal, she says to him he needs to no, I'm sorry. So before in her little confessional thing, right? She says he needs to learn how to control his emotions. Well, look at the pot calling the kettle black. Because she needs to know how to learn how to control her emotions. She's just as toxic and volatile and degrading as he is. So when they get together, he immediately apologizes for his behavior, immediately says that he's sorry and those things should not have been said. I think that she owed him an apology too, though. And maybe not for in that specific moment, but just in general about the way she's been treating him and handling him, like without care. She doesn't listen to what he says at all. I did like that Liz was talking about boundaries and setting boundaries. One of those things was space. If I need my space and I go into a different place, don't follow me, respect my space. Also, he had said something about, because she said something about don't act like you're insane or out of control. And he said, we can't name call. And I really didn't think that those were name calling, but maybe they are. But I think that they do need to learn how to communicate. And I liked, as part of his boundaries, that he said we need to communicate more often. Let's choose one day a week and sit and discuss how we feel. But that doesn't work for Jamie. Y'all know she don't want to talk. All he wants to do is talk. Well, how in the fuck else you going to get to know each other? Because you don't want to have sex with him. And now you don't want to talk to him. This is one of them relationships where I think during this recommitment time, they both should have said no. At least one of them should have said no and walked away. She also said, you can't constantly say, I'm leaving, I want a divorce, because it makes me feel some kind of way. It makes me feel inadequate. And I just thought, well, okay. But they could have added some more things. Like, for instance, if we are so upset with one another, if things start getting heated, that we stop, we put a pin in it and walk away so that we can reevaluate while we're together, why we are together. Like, because they're so new, they need to figure out what works for them. And right now, what they're doing and just sitting and having conversations isn't working. Talking about things on the spot for them isn't working. They both lash out. So they really need to figure out how, when things start getting, how do we handle things when they start getting out of control? Somebody has to bow down. Somebody has to stop talking. Somebody has to let the other person express themselves. Somebody has to take the higher role and then later on come back and say, listen, I didn't appreciate this, and this. I allowed you the time to get that out. Now that we're in a different space, here's how I fucking feel. Woo, child. Amber and Matt. So long, farewell, sayonara, arrivederci, goodbye. Why are we still in this marriage? Why? Especially after are you committed? All these, you know what? Oh, Jesus, help us, God. Why, child? Why? For both of them, why? Okay, here we go. We see Amber, she comes on. We see a time, we see a time stamp with Amber. 6:30, 9:15, 11, 1:35. She's crying again. He's not coming home. He's not responding. She's feeling rejected and like she's not enough. Throw the whole man away, child. Throw the whole man away. Throw her away too. Because I can't. I'm not, Amber. I don't have any sympathy for you at this point anymore. And I mean at this point. Hold on. Let me back up. When she did her confessional, she said, all I want him to do is come home and hold me. I will do anything to make this marriage work. What happened to you that was so bad, that made you so insecure, so made you feel like you were less than and you had to accept whatever somebody gave you, Amber. What the fuck happened? And why are they not giving you some therapy? Because it is evident that you do not have confidence, that you don't feel like you're good enough. Because you keep saying it. And that is what you're exuding. And not only that, you are very attached to him. Very attached. Like, you need him in your space. What is it? She's a twin. Her twin don't seem to have that problem. Most twins don't seem to have that problem. I'm just trying to figure out, because she's used to being, she was with somebody in the womb and she had her sister her whole life. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out. No shade, no tea on twins. I'm just wondering though. Like, seriously, like, what the fuck happened? Okay, your mama left when you was 9. Your daddy should have got you some help. I'm just so confused. And I don't have any sympathy for Amber and the decisions that she is making from here on out. Let's talk about their sessions with Viviana and Pastor Cal. This is when we find out that Matt hadn't been home for 2 nights. My nigga, how you not going to be home for 2 nights? How? And not only that, you hadn't even called or texted or said anything. How have you not been home for 2 nights? Pastor Cal straight out asked, is there another bitch? No, he didn't say that because he's a pastor. But he asked, is there another woman? And Matt had the nerve to feel some kind of way. Was taken aback. Like, how you feel some kind of way? This is classic of how men act when they are out doing other things. Matt is not committed to the process. We've been saying that since the first time he did not come home. Pastor Cal pretty much said, don't BS me. What the hell is going on? When the cameras is off, you ain't around. You nowhere to be found. What is going on? And so when he asked, where have you been? He had the nerve to just say, I've been clearing my mind. I've been needing some space. Now, I did read an article that said Matt said that Amber is a bit much. Probably because she's clingy, attachy, needy, right? But you signed up for this. So you deal with it. You tell her you need some space. You tell her, give me a break. But you know what? We saw she was clingy though when he wanted to go to the other bathroom and put his stuff in the bathroom, and she was like, why? Are we roommates now? When Amber talks to Viviana, she said that he is different on the camera than he is off the camera. When they're off the camera, he doesn't seem like he wants to be around her or to be bothered with her. Who was that said he was there for a check? Which one of y'all was that? Honey, because he is here for a check. He ain't got no money. He ain't playing ball. He need a check. He didn't have a plan. He didn't save his money from overseas. He need a check. And honestly, though I don't have any sympathy for her anymore, it's not fair to her. If he doesn't want to be there, if he doesn't like her, if he doesn't want to be in the process, he should be saying, I don't want to do this anymore. Not what he said, which is, I'm going to do better. I'm here for her. I'm growing to like her. He is fucking detached too. Like he is, when you look at him, his mind, he is detached. He is not like in the present moment. Like, it's either a bitch or he on drugs. Which one is it? Amber says in order for her to say yes, he needs to open up and be more emotional and trusting, right? No, Amber, in order for him to say yes, in order for you to say yes, all he has to do is fuck you a few nights and you're going to say yes because you're so lonely and so desperate that at this point I feel like you're going to take anything and deal with anybody, which is not fair to you. Like, I want you to boss up. Like, nigga, you got me fucked up. If you gonna stay out, stay gone. Let's not play this game. Like, that's really what I want her to come and say. Like, I really want to be her friend and tell her to say that. But she can't. I don't know, she calling somebody. The cameras ain't there all the time. So they gotta be having conversations with their friends. Who is telling you to stick this shit out? Who? Not even the tells you to be a fool, the Bible say don't be a fool. That's what the Bible say. Don't be a fool. And I know it said don't want you to get divorced and it's a sin, but listen, we all sin, okay, and fall short of the glory of God. Child! She would say no right now because she needs to get the love she deserves. Now, I'm going to agree with that. And honestly, with her talking to Viviana and us listening to her, she does sound a little more convincing, but it switches. Hold on just a second for me. Hold on. Pastor Hal just tells Matt plain and simple, you need to walk away. If this is not something that you want, walk away. If you're not committed to the process, walk away. It's okay to walk away if this is not what you want. Matt ain't got no balls, though. He ain't gonna do it. He says that he's gonna put in the effort. He gonna make things work. He gonna show it. He gonna show and not just say. She's so foolish, though. Amber, unfortunately, breaks my heart. Strikes me as the kind of person that would stay in a marriage just to say that I'm married, just to say that I have somebody. No matter how unhappy I am, I would do the things that's necessary to be married to try and make it work instead of putting my happiness first. And not be selfish, because if I'm happy, you're happy. I need to put my happiness first, and you're evidently not happy because you're not even here. What did he say? What she say? He said, my friend wasn't even home and I just went over there and stayed the night over there. He doesn't want to be around you. And you really feel like he's going to put through some effort? And I say that because they have this conversation. And she isn't all gung-ho. He comes in with that sup again. What the fuck you mean, what's up? She, I don't want her to get to waving her finger and rolling her neck, because that is not an appropriate form of communication, ladies. But I do want her to be able to articulate herself, which she did very well. But not only that, I want her to stick to what she's saying. She straight up asks him, why don't you want to be around me? Again, effectively communicating how you feel, what it is you don't like about her, why. You're too clingy. I don't like you. You're not my type. I love black women. I love exotic women. I love, you're plain, right? Like, you're not tall enough. You're over the top. It drains me. I like to be chill. You don't. Like, all of that, now is the time. I don't understand what we're afraid of, why we're afraid to express our wants, our needs, our desires. I'm not really sure. Haven't figured that out yet, but I know I'm going to start doing it. If I don't do it enough, if I feel like I'm holding back on some shit, this right here is making me say I'm not going to hold back on how I feel for the sake of someone else. I'm going to tell them out of loving kindness. Anyway, so he says he's going to put in the effort, and he's going to show her. He can show her better than he could tell her. Okay, we're going to see, ain't we? She does say there are a few things that she wants from him. You need to text me in the beginning of the night and at the end of the night. And you need to be in the house by 2:30. I need you home every day. I mean, is that valid for y'all? Somebody tell me if those parameters are valid, or those are good enough for you. Because you don't need to be out every day till 2:30. Hell, you don't need to be out every week at 2:30 unless that's your job. Yeah, you could go hang out like I'm going to go hang out. But if you out all the time until 2:30 every night, then something ain't right. She needs to just call it quits. What is she afraid of? Why is she afraid of being alone? Somebody help me understand that. Okay, so it looks like that ends the entire episode. I want to know who you think gonna make it. I honestly believe Deanna and Greg are gonna make it. I honestly believe they are going to make it, and this next week, because I didn't get to see, because I watch it recorded, I didn't get to see what happens next week. But I really feel like they're going to make gallant strides, and that they're going to make it to the end. That they are going to have longevity in their marriage. I feel like Keith and Iris are on the road to recovery, especially since she's opening up and trying to do more things to please him sexually. And then I want Jamie and Liz to call it quits, to walk away. But if they put in the effort, I guess it'll work. But they are very toxic. They really need to both go seek individual therapy, and then they have couples therapy, so that they can be well-rounded and be good for each other. whole self first so that I can be whole with someone else. And Matt and Amber, just walk away. Just walk away. If they make it past the 8 weeks, I don't know what to say. I'm gonna need a follow-up issue. I'm gonna need a follow-up episode. Like, I don't know what to say. Y'all, let me know what you think about the episode down below in the comments. I know this was longer than normal. I'm gonna try and make them shorter. I really am. I probably won't. I am your girl, Talisa Rae. Thank you so much for watching my review of Married at First Sight, Season 9, Episode 10, Are You Committed? If it's your first time visiting my channel, click the subscribe button, become a ray of sunshine. You're there, click the notification bell so you won't miss anything I upload going forward. Hugs and kisses and lots of love. I'll catch you on the next video.